Hello Internet, Stan here from brainfruitcreative.com. In this video I'm going to show you why smart objects are awesome and how you can use them in your work. So the first thing I'm going to do is open Photoshop, make a new document. I'm going to set it to around 2000 px square. Okay, so here's my document. Oops, that's 200. I'll switch it to 2000. Okay, I'm going to drag in an image. Oops. Copy it with Control or Command C, paste it into my document, and then I'm going to show you what happens if you start to deform an image that isn't set as a smart object. So I'm going to hold down Control whilst the Move tool is selected. You can press V to bring up the Move tool, or make sure that the Tools palette's visible by going Window, Tools. Grab your Move tool, hold down Control or Command, grab a corner and distort your image. Press Enter to set it. Now, I've now deformed my image. If I want to go back to where I previously was, I can use Control Alt Z or Command Alt Z, but if I'm further into building my document, and I decide to change the look of this image back to how it was, or deform it in a slightly different way, the image is the pixels have been messed up so much that I can't go back to how it was, and every time I make a new transformation, the quality of the image will degrade. So if I go back to my original image, right click the name, convert to smart object, this object is now has been turned into a smart object. And I can deform the shape by pressing Control or Command T, hold down Control, deform the shape, and the original image will remain intact. So I can deform it and then bring it back to a square, and the image will maintain its original quality. I can do other transformations to it, so I can go transform, warp, mash it up, and the original image of the original quality of the image will remain intact. So I can access the original image by going into the smart object. All you need to do is make sure your layers palette's visible by pressing F7 or going Windows, Window, Layers. Double click the smart object, the image rather than the text, and that will bring you inside the smart object. And you can make adjustments in here, save them with Control or Command S, go back to your original, and those adjustments will be visible there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this shape out, and I'll come back to you in a second. So I'm going to save it, go back to my original document. Now what's happened here is I've made some transformations to the document, and what I want to do is go back to my original picture where the smart object hadn't been altered. If I'd gone so far into the document that I didn't have enough history states to come back to my original image, that's okay, because I can go to my smart object by double clicking the image, open the smart object up and drag it away from that window, select all the contents of the smart object, drag it back into the original document, and I can remake my smart object again. So here I've got two layers selected. That was the contents of the smart object. I can right click it, convert it back to a smart object, and there's my untransformed object. Now the great thing is about smart objects is that anything you do to them is non-destructive, so you can always come back to your original quality image. I'm going to show you something else now that's really great about them, and that is that you can start to put other smart objects inside smart objects. So I'm just going to grab another image. I'm going to copy one section of it. Oops. Control or Command C. Paste that inside my smart object. Convert that into a smart object. Press Control T to resize. and rotate it. I'm going to go into this second smart object, isolate the bacon from the background. In this case, I'm just going to delete it. I've used the 1 tool with a tolerance of 20. If I increase the tolerance, I'll remove more of the white areas. So Control S, I've saved that smart object. Come back to this one, and there's my bacon. So now that my bacon's there, I don't want to have just one piece, I want to have several pieces because it's bacon and everyone loves bacon. So I'm going to copy this by making sure the layer is selected, holding down Alt, and then dragging across. I have the Move tool selected at the moment, and you can select that easily by pressing V. So I've now got a copy of my smart object. Now, if I go into this smart object, make a new layer, make an alteration, and save, go back to my second smart object, the same alteration has been applied to both because these smart objects are identical. If I don't want that to be the case, all I need to do, rather than just pressing Alt and copying, I want to right click the name of the smart object and click New Smart Object via Copy. So now I have two smart objects and they're both separate entities, so I can go into here, draw with a paintbrush, make a change to it, save it, close it, go back to this document, and that alteration has only been applied to one smart object. So you can have multiple smart objects just by making, if you want them all to be different, you just need to make sure you always click New Smart Object via Copy. So I'm going to go ahead and make another copy of this bacon. I'm going to go into it and remove the paintbrush. And I'm going to make another copy, an original copy. So I have a new smart object, so there's 3 bits of bacon. Save, close, go back to my original document, and here's my smart object. Now I can make as many alterations to this as I like, and it will remain, it'll keep its original quality. What's excellent again here is that now inside this smart object I've got 2 smart objects. I can make another copy of this one, so I can go New Smart Object via Copy. There will now be a new smart object with 4 smart objects inside it. So there's the bread, there's the 3 pieces of bacon. So I've got another one, so I can now go in here, I can add a new layer, make some alterations, save it, come back to the original, and there we are. I've got 2 separate smart objects. So I hope this has been really helpful. I use smart objects all the time in my work, and they save me a huge amount of time. If you like this video, don't forget to click subscribe to keep up with future updates.